And Rob Call on the line with us, old friend of mine and founder of opednews.com, as in opinion editorial, opednews.com. And he's also the host of the Rob Call Bottom Up radio show. Hey, Rob, welcome back.
Hey, thanks. Great to be here.
Great to have you with us. You published a heck of a piece here the other day, The Power and Danger of Complexity and Secrecy. Tell us what this is about.
Well, there's a website, opencorporates.com. They have collected all the different information about subsidiaries of corporations, and it's really mind-blowing. Goldman Sachs, for example, has over 4,000 subsidiaries. We've had a lot of conversations, Tom, about corporate personhood and the idea of holding corporations accountable. Imagine how impossible that is when you have thousands of corporations that are subsidiaries of a main corporation. So you're not just dealing with Goldman Sachs, you're dealing with over 4,000 different entities that are sometimes 10 times removed, 10 layers down. Talk about the idea of being able to hide things and keep secrets, particularly criminality.
The example that I think most Americans, at least of a certain age, might be familiar with is Enron. Enron had over 800 companies, if my recollection is correct. And what Ken Lay had become a master at doing, and in fact, the reason why he pushed Phil Graham, whose wife Wendy was on his board of directors, to push through Graham Leach Bliley and blow up Glass-Steagall, was that the banks were starting to get suspicious of what Ken Lay was up to, and he wanted to own his own bank. So what Enron did is they moved all the profits into companies that had, also substantial losses, or were overseas or offshore in ways that they wouldn't have to pay taxes on the profits. And then they moved all the losses into companies that they could hide from the banks so that they looked profitable. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's just the start. That's just hiding money. But right. Who knows what other kinds of criminality can be going on? If you look at, there's a graph that I grabbed from Open Corporates that shows a kind of a map of Goldman Sachs, and there are a huge collection, at least hundreds, maybe 1,000 in the Cayman Islands alone.
Wow.
Why? It's unbelievable.
What are they doing with all those companies in the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it?
Is each company hiding the wealth of one particular billionaire?
Well, a lot of them are set up so that they're 99% owned by one company, and then there's one share that goes to someone or some other organization. It's a way to keep control without having to report total ownership, things like that. And some of them are for insurance, some of them are for banking. If you start thinking about how bad this is, we have a system that is far, far away from accountability and accessibility than we imagined.
Yeah, the whole Milton Friedman libertarian theory rests on the assumption that everyone has perfect information. For a perfect marketplace to work, everything has to be completely transparent, and this is the exact opposite of that.
Well, transparency is something that is not good for dishonesty and deception, and that's what we have.
Which is the new corporate standard. I mean, this is the name of the game: is extract money from the American people and from our country. This is truly astonishing.
Extraction is what corporations do, and they do it without caring about people.
Right.
I've been doing a long
are there suggestions for how to solve this problem?
I haven't seen anybody see it as a problem, really. I mean, it's what it is, and it's the way corporate. If you look at Facebook, it has similar webs like this.
Sure.
And it's like these nets in the ocean that go for miles and miles that catch and kill everything that they encounter.
Right.
These are toxic dangerous webs, networks that I really didn't know about them until I first encountered this website. And it's a neat website, Open Corporates, which I have nothing to do with, except that I think it's a useful tool that you can go in there and search it.
Right.
They have a page where they show each of the different banks and how they have thousands of these corporations. I think that we need. Yeah, I think, and the article, by the way, is at opednews.com/complexity. I made a simple URL for it.
Okay.
But I think the transparency is the issue. I think that we need some kinds of laws that say if you're a small business and you have one corporation, fine. But if you have more than that, you've got to declare them and public and visible. And then we can start looking at the kind of problems that we encounter when we see these corporations all over the world. Right. It's so. It's hard to come up with words, but it's so big, it's so ugly that it's mind-boggling, really.
Yeah, it really and truly is remarkable. Rob Call, he's the publisher, founder of opednews.com and opednews.com/complexity for this article, The Power and Danger of Complexity and Secrecy, and the story of Chris Taggart and all the great work that they're doing. Rob, thanks for dropping by today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Sure.